Like all good prosecutors, we decided that the first thing we would do would be the easiest thing. And the easiest thing in the Enron case was the Arthur Andersen obstruction of justice situation.
So it was pure politics, the decision that was made to kill Arthur Andersen.
It seemed to me it was an extremely aggressive government stance with, as it turned out, an enormously dangerous potential to destroy one of the 4 or 5 largest accounting firms in the country overnight.
The execution, basically, of Arthur Andersen, which lost, by the way, far more jobs than the demise of Enron lost. That didn't need to happen. But a political decision was taken that we need to appear to be very tough. So they indicted Arthur Andersen, and of course that killed Arthur Andersen.
That company was destroyed by the U.S. Department of Justice and the approach the U.S. Department of Justice took to its role in Enron. I think that the Arthur Andersen case did send a very strong message to corporate America that if you don't cooperate with United States criminal enforcement investigations, you could cease to exist as a company, irrespective of your size. And the worrying thing, and perhaps the unfair thing, is that many innocent people who worked for that company, who had nothing to do with the wrongdoing of a few, ended up losing their jobs, and it had a very significant effect on people who were innocent.
Now, understand, Arthur Andersen has never been now, as we sit here now, is not convicted of anything. The crime that they went to trial for and a jury returned a guilty verdict was not a crime according to the Supreme Court. And that's a 9-0 decision by the Supreme Court.
I never understood from day one what Arthur Andersen did that was wrong. They were indicted, they were tried before a very unfair judge, they were convicted by a jury that was misinstructed as to what the law was, and the conviction was maintained right through the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court unanimously reversed. It wasn't a close case. At least I realized when that happened that I wasn't crazy, that the firm had done nothing illegal, had performed its duty. By then, of course, the firm was destroyed. The mere indictment of a firm that they can't get jobs if they're under indictment, they can't do audits. So it was obvious that the indictment was going to destroy Arthur Andersen. But I'll tell you what's most pernicious about the Arthur Andersen case is not that it destroyed one of the 5 major accounting firms in the country. It's that it threw terror into the other 4, and now the government has complete control over these accounting firms. It can get them to turn and to testify against one of their accounting and auditing clients like that, because they all see Arthur Andersen sort of hanging in the public square from a rope that the DOJ erected. The fact that the Supreme Court reversed it doesn't mean much, because it's the indictment that kills an auditing firm, even if the conviction ultimately is reversed. history gets rewritten, of course, when the Supreme Court unanimously speaks. And so, suddenly individuals who were convinced they were convinced that they committed crimes, right? Or even if they weren't, they were convinced that there was no way that they could win. Suddenly, they're trying to reverse their pleas of guilty. And as I say, there's a bit of a comic opera element to all of this. It's not funny, of course, for the people whose lives have been ruined.